what's at stake for the Christian leader right now who is doing the work, but if they're honest, they feel a bit disconnected from God, and they're tired, but they don't know how to slow down. They wouldn't even know how to slow down the schedule and the thinking and be still. And the reason why I ask what's at stake, because it happens it's so common. It's like the default setting is just tons of activity. And I'm just beginning to wonder what happens if there's a generation of pastors in Canada who are doing the work, but not doing it from a deep connection with Jesus and that slowed down place. And I just feel like there might be some real things at stake, some ripple out effects that we might have not considered. And I wonder what you feel like is at stake for young leaders feeling that way.
Yeah, I think that everything is at stake. That, and again, it may sound really simple, but I'm speaking to pastors now and those in some kind of vocational ministry or even a Christian business person. We are in a character work, and our first and foremost call is to know Jesus and to inhabit his life and invite him to inhabit us, and out of that to offer something to the world. And we can get confused. If I can go back to California for a moment, the church that I was involved in planting was taking off, and I had a friend in my life who was discouraging me from going back to Canada. He said, it rains a lot in Vancouver for one. The weather's better here in Southern California, which is true.
Sure.
And he said, I hear that people are very resistant to Christianity in Vancouver. So you'll never be seen as a successful pastor if you go to Vancouver. That'll never happen for you. If you stay in Southern California, at least you have a chance. And despite all of my ambitions as a young man, as a young pastor, I really felt even back then that true success wasn't being part of something big or being well known, but it was simply doing what was in God's heart and mind. And I think that we've got to resist the temptation to measure success by the size of our ministry or how well we're known. I'm preaching through Jeremiah right now, who was in a kind of non-COVID exile, or his people were, and he wasn't very successful by worldly standards. No one converted, no big revival broke out, no spiritual awakening. And yet he doggedly did what was in the heart of God. And so in God's eyes, he was hugely successful, and he had an enduring impact. In 2020, we're studying his writings in a way that he couldn't have imagined in the year 600 BC. So I think if we're faithful to what we're called to be and do, that we'll have an enduring, maybe difficult, but also ultimately fruit-bearing and peace-filled ministry.